Good morning, boys and girls. Just a quick recap of the video we just looked at in French. Earlier this week, we looked at perimeter. Perimeter being the distance around the outside of an object. For example, if this were somebody's backyard, and we wanted to build a fence, of course the fence would go around the edge of the property and therefore would be on the perimeter. Now, let's say, rather than talking about somebody's backyard with a fence, this is a living room. And in the living room we want to put a beautiful blue carpet. We want to cover every inch of the floor with the beautiful blue carpet. So it would cover all of the area inside here. This is called the area. When we talk about covering all of the surface of something, we talk about covering the area of the surface. Now we have a couple of exercises here that are going to help us see what area is. Here we have a figure. It's in the shape of the cross, but we often see representing the Red Cross. Okay, and I have also sent to you a paper with a lot of these little squares on here. So you have quite enough that you need to do what you need to do. I would ask you to cut out the little squares. Because what we're going to do is figure out how many cubes, it says here, use a big cube to see the area of this. Now, if we were in school, we would have all kinds of these cubes, and we could just put them on top here and figure out the area. Unfortunately, we aren't in school, so we don't have that. That's why I'm sending you these. Put this here. We see we've got 3 covering this part, and 1 covering this part, and another one covering this part. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them all together. Knowing that it takes 5 cubes to cover the area of this shape, I put the number 5 here. And I will go and try the same thing here. 3 cubes and 1 cube. It will take 4 cubes to cover figure H. I'm sending you 2 papers with these figures on them, and you just use your cubes to figure out the area of each shape in cubes. I am sending you another paper that is somewhat interesting. Usually when I'm doing area in school with the boys and girls, we have a paper like this with all different kinds of shapes, and we measure different things in the room. The windows, the tops of the desks, tops of the chairs, top of a table, all kinds of different things that we measure using these shapes to see how many it takes to cover an item. I've given you 4 shapes to choose from. when you're measuring an item, you use one shape. You don't use all 4 together on one item. You use one shape. And if you want to use the same shape for all your items, you can go right ahead. If you want to use maybe A to figure out the area of your book, that would be fine. So I have this nice big book here. I'm going to take my square and I'm going to use it to figure out the size of the book. 1, it's a little bit tricky to do while holding it up. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I would slide that over there. And of course I would get 4 again. So now I've used up 8 of the squares. And then three gives me some extra. But for a lot of them, you're not going to be able to get an exact shape. So you can, even if there's a little bit left over, do the best you can. So if you wanted to say you could get this down 3 times, I know there's a little bit left over here, but that would be okay. You might want to, for a very big article such as the couch, use your biggest shape. What I would like you to do on a piece of paper is simply write the name of the article. Here I wrote leave for book, and I said that I used shape A to cover it 6 times. Maybe that wasn't quite good enough because, well, I've already got to 4, so I definitely did not use shape A to cover it 6 times. So, be a little bit careful about how you measure. It will be a lot easier when things are laying down flat to measure them. You can measure a small carpet in your house. You can measure a yoga mat, top of a coffee table. There are a lot of things that you could measure with the shapes. Well, that is what I would like you to do, boys and girls. I hope that you find this to be a fun activity and have a really super day.